Here's Organist 1982's car, and this is a 2002 Ford Escort ZX2. This car has had trouble with the serpentine belt coming off, and it's happened several times, and it's happened due to rain getting on the belt. And we're going to go over how I was able to fix it, because this was kind of a frustrating repair job. The last time the serpentine belt came off, hopefully the wind is always strong here, so hopefully the wind isn't messing too much with this. But the last time the belt came off, I tried to put tension on the serpentine belt tensioner up on the top of the engine compartment, but I just couldn't get it. I couldn't get it back far enough, and so we had to have it towed to a mechanic shop. And by the time we paid for all that, it was like $200. And I said, this can be done. I can do this. And I just refused to give up on it. And I found the solution. I found a video on YouTube that was pretty good, and I can't remember exactly who the user is, but if you just search on Ford Escort ZX2 Serpentine belt, it'll show you. But there was just a few things I kind of had to find out for myself that I didn't quite see on the video, that I just want to relay my experience about it. First thing is, here's the crankshaft pulley of the engine, and for me, of course, I'm used to rear-wheel drive cars, so this is my first time looking at any of this stuff on a front-wheel drive car, and so it looks kind of foreign to me, but I've kind of learned more about how the stuff is set up just by doing it. Here's the crankshaft pulley. This apparently is a heater tube, a heater coolant line, and I think that's what it is. It goes to the radiator, and I didn't investigate where all it goes, but I learned that it needs to be disconnected from that bolt there so that you can get enough clearance to get the wrench in there. And I was able to kind of pull it back a little bit, but you could also get another bolt off up here that kind of holds it on, but that one was kind of difficult to get to. But I found that what I needed to put tension on it was this sort of ratchet tool, and nothing else I found will work. And this was the critical part that they didn't, I don't think they explicitly explained in that other video, but you can't use, let me see here, you can't use a ratchet like this because it's too thick from this part to here, and between where the belt tensioner is and the metal fender of the car, you've only got a little bit of room. So you've got to get this isn't actually a ratchet handle, I don't know what you call it, kind of like a breaker bar, but it's not as long. And so you've got to get a handle like this and a 13mm socket in order to do the belt tensioner. And where I put it, let me see if I can get down under here. Probably see the tension pulley more from up there, but I put the wrench up in here and started from this point, held it close to the air conditioning compressor, and then rotated it back behind this heater tube here, which has been loosened from its mount so that I could get the wrench by it. But that's the only thing I found could work. Now, I got a serpentine belt tool, but there's not enough room to do it. And I mentioned that I've got this sitting up on a jack stand here. Don't ever just use a jack to support a car. You always must have a jack stand on it. I just left the jack under there as additional protection, but it's really being supported by the stand. But the wheel must come off, as you see here. But the belt tensioner is right. Well, let's see. Well, you can see for one thing, this is how much room you have to work with. Not very much. The belt tensioner, this here pulley is the power, is this the power steering pulley? I think it is. This is the power steering pulley. That one right under it is the belt tensioner. And there is not enough room to get a tool up in this area. This will not work because I've tried it. Let me tell you, you do not have enough room to swing the tool around to get the tensioner back far enough. You got to swing the wrench around about 180 degrees almost to get the tensioner pulled back enough in order to get the belt on. Now I think I got everything back the way it should be. Just search the internet for the belt diagram. I got it and printed it out and put it on here, but I would not recommend trying to do anything on this from the top end of the engine compartment. I even loosened these brackets for this bracket here, and no, don't do that because it won't work. At least I haven't found a way to make it work. But what you would do then, or the way I did it successfully, is I got the wrench in there and I was able to swing the handle back up under this heater line and swing it back all the way till it's up about here. And I put the belt on all of the accessories except for the crankshaft pulley, and the crankshaft pulley is the last thing. And you can do this with one man doing it. You have one hand, you have the right hand on the wrench here, and the left hand threads the belt up around the crankshaft pulley. And we'll test it out here in a little bit and make sure everything is lined up. Well, it's giving me a warning for the battery here, so we'll see how long it does. But I better go ahead and stop here soon. One other thing is, this is a splash guard, and it's very important that this be on here and intact because it keeps water from the wheels from being tossed up on the belt. And if the belt gets wet, it can end up slipping off of the tensioner pulley, because the tensioner pulley doesn't have any ridges on it. It's just smooth. So the belt, if the belt gets wet, it can end up slipping off of the tensioner, and then it can come off of the whole mechanism. So I'm going to stop now. We'll put this back together and then give it a test.